Hello all and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Aaliyah Simone, marketer by day, indie author by night. The link for my book is in my description as well as in my bio on all of my social media. Today I want to talk a little bit about my 2022 goals and my new 2023 goals. I did this sort of thing last year, kind of reflecting back on the previous year and then also looking ahead. So I thought I'd do it again, at least while it's February. The months are getting away from me. My 2022 goals, I had 8 of them. Looking back, I think that was too many big goals to put in one year. If they were smaller, or if 1 or 2 of them were big and the others were small, that would have been more doable. After reading Atomic Habits and reflecting a lot more on what I actually want out of life and not just what I feel like I should be doing, which is a problem I have as an Enneagram 1, I just think that I can streamline this a little better. The number one goal for this year, if nothing else happened, number one goal, publish my first book. And I made this number one because I have been talking for 8 years about publishing this book. I came up with the book idea when I was 16. I had a dream, and pretty much everything that you'll read in the book are sequences that happened in that dream. The dream felt like it was weeks long. It was the craziest thing. As soon as I woke up, I wrote down everything that happened, just rapid fire outlined it. And then I set it aside. And then every year since then, I said, I should publish this into a book because I've always wanted to publish a book because I read so many books like this. And every year it would get tossed aside for other things. And this year I said, if there's anything I can do this year, I want to publish that book. And I did. It came out November 21st, pretty close to the end of the year, but that gave me tons of time to get it through alpha readers, to get it through beta readers, to get it through a developmental edit, through a copy edit, getting a really good artist to do the cover. So it came out really professional. I'm really happy with it. I'm so glad that I found the team that I did to help me with it. Number 2 for this year was just to get to my second year at my dream job. And I did my second year there. I have a lot to say about that I will talk about in a different video, but until then, check that one off the list as well. Goal number 3 was to establish healthy habits. 3 of the main ones that I kind of was thinking of when I wrote that down was to sleep 8 hours a night. More or less happened. Some weeks it happened, some weeks it didn't. To run 3 times a week and to do 2 strength exercises a week. Now that fluctuated a lot based on the season that I was in and the week I was having really, but it's more habit forming than a hard deadline goal. So I'm not gonna give myself too much crap about this one. Number 4 was to work on posting more. And as you know, it did not happen on YouTube very much. On my Instagram and my TikTok, I was a little more active and consistent because those are shorter form, easier things to post. So many things were happening last year. It just didn't happen the way I wanted to, but my social media, I stayed pretty present in. Number 5 of 8 was to start a blog, which is going to coincide with my writing and different steps that I was taking to publish a book. I wanted to kind of blog it, video blogs, but I also wanted to have like a physical written blog about the writing process and the publishing process. I discovered that this goal specifically was something that was more idealized in my mind. It wasn't something that I really enjoyed doing. I much rather have these video documentaries because I feel like it's more personal and emotional and I can see where I was mentally, physically, and emotionally. This YouTube isn't just to grow a following. Like I really want you guys to be here with me. I really love the community aspect of it. But I also want to have these as documentation that I actually have things in my life that I really care about and that I get really passionate about enough to get in front of a camera, because if you don't know me, I am extremely introverted, but I'm doing it and I don't want to stop. Written blog is not something that I want to pursue anymore. I want to be continuing to show my face more and more in here. Number 6 was to grow in my relationship with God. I had kind of stopped going to church for a while there, stopped reading my Bible daily. I am not a legalistic Christian. I don't think that warming a pew is what will save your soul. I think a lot of it has to do with who you are as a person and how you treat others, how you establish your own personal relationship with God, not just how you show it to a community at church. So this goal was a lot of internal work that I wanted to do in myself, not necessarily making sure I go to church every week, but making sure I have a church that is my home church. And I did find that, and I do absolutely adore my home church. It's part of what helped me get back on a path of being in my own personal relationship with God. So I would call this step done, continuing to be done. It'll obviously be an ongoing thing, but I feel a lot better than I did at the beginning of 2022 as far as my relationship with God and my relationship with other people. Number 7 of 8 was to read 50 books. You guys know from my last video, I did read exactly 50. I barely made the mark, but I made it, hoping that I can read even more this year. And then number 8 on my list was to learn Korean. Now, I am stubborn and I want to be able to say I'm bilingual. It's just a thing that I wanted to be able to do. And I tried my hand at Latin. Latin is really cool because it's the root of so many languages today, but you can only take it so far because nobody speaks Latin anymore. I wanted a spoken language that I can learn. I thought deviating from romantic languages might help, but I got through the alphabet in Korean, and that's as far as I got. This year, I still have it as my goal to work toward learning a second language, but I've chosen a romantic language that I actually enjoy and actually might be able to use if my husband and I do travel a lot. We will talk about that when we get to that section of the video. So essentially 2 of the 8 were no-goes. 6 of the 8, I at least on some level feel like I am where I wanted to be by the end of the year. Obviously that number 1 goal, publishing a book, that is done. So yeah, that was my 2022. I have my 2023 goals in front of me. I took essentially the whole month of January to really think about this because I was just not in a good mental space at the end of the year to really think about long-term what I want. So really these are starting in February. Number 1, read 52 books. That's a book a week. Too easy. Too easy. I did 50 last year, and last year was a horrible year for me as far as time management went. Number 2 is to create more and to grow my community on my YouTube as well as my social media platforms. I've already been doing that on my social media platforms. The next step would be to just post on here more. I just want to be able to have a community where I can talk about the reading and writing and art and so many different things that I have been wanting to talk to you guys about. I don't have number goals. I'd rather see consistent progress, not perfection. That's for every aspect of my life. I kind of have made that a rule for myself to not be numbers focused. My number 3 goal is to sell more of my books. I do have a number written down for that, but that's more of an idealistic setting. The goal really is to just get it out there and to talk to you guys about it because I really since it dropped, I really haven't said a lot about it. So I feel like I have been doing an injustice by putting an entire year, really 8 years if we want to talk about when the idea first came to my mind, into this book and then not even talking about it now that it actually exists. So that's goal number 3, talk about my book more, get it into the hands of more people. Number 4 is to study a new language. The language I've chosen this year is Italian, and I'm actually going to stick to this one. One of my favorite bands is Italian, so I maybe can finally figure out what they're saying in all their songs. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Number 5 is a financial goal. I won't say the specific number. My husband and I have been very adamant about the Dave Ramsey lifestyle of being debt-free. We are debt-free and we have enough in savings to get us through an emergency crisis, but there's a amount of savings that we want to get before we can start looking at a house, and we do want to buy a house probably within the next 2 years. Number 5 is that savings goal. Those are the 5 I really want to focus on, but I also wrote down some habits that I want to keep track of and try to improve upon. After reading the book Atomic Habits, I just think a lot of these are something I can see giving myself a better quality of life through these. My morning routine, getting up at the same time every day and having my routine, having my Devo time, having my reading time, moving my body before I start the workday, because it just sets me up for so much better of a mental space. Even if it's not in the morning, to at least go on a walk after work just to de-stress. If I don't move my body, I can literally feel the difference in my mind, in how irritable I can be. It's a must for me. The third thing is to get 8 hours of sleep per night. That is one that I consistently have trouble with, even when I'm having really good habits for my mornings and for my days. Actually getting to bed at a decent time and having 8 hours of sleep, I have so much trouble with it. And honestly, if I could just keep it consistently over 6 hours, I would be happy. Those are the things I'm looking forward to in 2023. I've got them all written out. I'm super excited about what this year holds. I'm super excited about coming into the year already in a better space than I was coming into last year, having put the thought into what I really want versus what I think the world wants of me. I just think it's going to be even better of a year than last year. I'm super excited that you guys can be a part of it. Please comment some of your goals for this year. I'll be talking more about this as the year goes on and more about all of the events that happened last year. But until then, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I will see you guys next week. Bye.